So, what are your thoughts on us getting a new White House after Nesara?
Oh yeah, I think so. I mean, I think we're already seeing that. Most people have looked at this a little closer, and Mar-a-Lago, when you look at the history of Mar-a-Lago indicates that it was a vacation White House. So why was he there? To indicate that's what it's going to be. Now, I mean, some people want to say Austin or Dallas or something like that. I don't know, but the White House is an ugly place. Um, it's got dumbs in there. And by the way, if you don't believe in dumbs, I'm blanking on the movie, and Kevin, you might remember it, but there's a couple like movie types that give you this basic idea. National Treasure gives you an idea of dumbs underground military bases. We have uh, there was this one American president that they replaced with a guy that looked exactly like him, an actor kind of thing. And he comes in and they got him out when he wanted to go get ice cream. Oh my gosh, that is that's a child trafficking kind of conversation too. When he wants to go get ice cream with his fake, presidential wife, they took a dumb and they talked about those were done from the Civil War timeframe. Hey, listen, this has been a sick area for a long time. My personal viewpoint is I'd like to see Washington, D.C. be a cabal museum. It's already a museum, but let's just make it a full-on cabal museum. But some people want to make it just a swampland again. Again, whatever. But I don't believe we're going to be in the White House. I think we're going to see that, as a no way, this is not happening kind of thing.
So, if we do get a new White House, I do think that it might be in Philly because I think the Constitution was signed in Philadelphia, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
So that would be kind of cool.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with it. I
Yeah.
don't have a problem with a major metropolitan city being to take over. I guess Philly has been a really heavy stronghold of a blue state for a long time. We need to fix the mess stuff. Okay, I'm not as comfortable with that until it gets fixed. And again, the White Hats are thinking this stuff. Again, and I don't have a clue. Russell J. Gould actually took over the Philadelphia post office. And that's where he had taken over the flag and the post office to take over, America. So he's got America. And I guarantee you Trump knows that. So, and it was all in Philly. So yeah, could be in Philly.
So I live basically 2 hours north of Philadelphia, maybe an
Yeah.
hour and a half, 2 hours. And Philadelphia historically is very, very rich.
Oh
But
man.
in 2022, it's basically the armpit and the waste dump of Pennsylvania. But Pennsylvania is basically a red state, but then you have that piece of crap city, Philadelphia, and it just messes everything up.
Well,
But
and anyone who's been to Philly knows there's historical references. I mean, just like Boston. I mean, it's got amazing historical references. And we need to recover that. That's the patriotic stuff. And that's the cabal hates that stuff. I mean, they hate American. I mean, did you see, Pelosi and Kamala with the idiot flag? And when you look in on the flag behind Zelensky, who's speaking in there. I mean, it was just sick. And it says United Hates of America. That's what they feel like. So we need to recover Philadelphia as a city that has a rich and powerful patriotic history. And that's part of one of the things that happens in Nesara. Gesara is there's humanitarian funds set up to be able to do some of that stuff.
we need to make Philadelphia great again. And going to my next question, what are your thoughts on 34 satanic structures getting destroyed?
Well, I think, I mean, well, let's just use one, the Georgia Guidestones, without going to all the other ones, with that. If you believed that the Q movement was stupid, fine. You believe that we lost, fine. How come the Georgia Guidestones got blown up? it actually stipulates the 500 million that they wanted to take over the planet. It's the whole cabal thing. Why did they get destroyed? And it was possibly a missile attack. And then they went in and just took it out. If you believe that the monument of that thing was, I mean, if the cabal was going to win, they would have protected the heck out of that monument. And it's been around for a long time. So how come those structures are taken out? I think Hollywood is a type of a monument in many ways. That Hollywood sign, I want it gone. I don't want anything to do with that. Hey man, there's nothing wrong with LA, but we don't need to have a glorification of Hollywood. And by the way, Hollywood's been dying in every way, shape, and form. So we need to see those satanic kinds of things come off of the systems. And again, Washington, D.C. has a pentagram it's built around. So, the monuments and other things that we really think, I mean, the phallic symbol of the Washington, or is it the Washington Monument? Yeah, the Washington Monument. Hey, come on, we need to get these things gone. So really get back to what the real structure of that stuff is.
What are your thoughts on Antarctica and the lands beyond Antarctica?
I don't know enough about, the lands beyond. I looked into some of that stuff. I mean, why is it that we have nations who are against each other, and they're very, very heavily against each other, but every nation has guarded Antarctica? I think there's so many ugly issues that are happening with Antarctica that we haven't, sorry about that, I was moving something. We haven't explored what's going on. And we do know that there are deep underground military bases, and they've been working with what I believe demons for a long time. I'm a very strong believer that, the alien idea is demonic. Actually, when you go research it, one of the things you'll find is that to be in a deep underground military base, whether you agree with the white aliens or the gray aliens, you cannot say the name of Jesus. I don't care what. You can't even use it as a cuss word. And so, and you have to sign agreements against that. How come you can't say that? It's because it's demonic. And stuff that's been happening in the DUMBs are demonic. And the stuff they've been trying to build and do in Antarctica is that. What we know, and I'm sure Kevin knows this very well, is that that was taken over a while ago. What kinds of research and understanding it has, I don't know. But I would say that there's a lot of stuff we need to really reclaim of that history with that.
Now, let me get your opinion on Tartaria, Atlantis, and Flat Earth.
I've looked at it. I kind of not a flat earther with that. I'm buying it. People are. It doesn't, it's kind of one of those, in my situation, kind of a non-germane issue. I will say, though, that's related. I don't believe anything that NASA's done. I mean, how come you can go to the moon in the 60s with technology that is, they were using slide rules to do their calculus. And yet we somehow don't have the money or ability to go after that time frame. How does Nixon in the early 70s make a telephone call to the moon with non-wireless technology? And it was perfect transmission. They're talking to one another without any kind of break. It doesn't make any sense. Stanley Kubrick actually mentions that, the space program was made up, and, so what goes on with that? I don't know. Is there flat earth things? I read something, there were like 200 scriptures that support flat earth. Now as a Bible scholar, I just kind of went through, I picked a cross section of about 20 or 30 scriptures, and they were supposedly proof. Went through those scriptures verse by verse, and I always do the supporting verses around it. not one of them are supporting that flat earth. Sorry. The Bible doesn't necessarily support it. It doesn't support that it's not. It doesn't have a conversation the way you think it does upon that. So, you know, if it doesn't have the conversation, then we're really not having an, you know, understanding from a biblical standpoint either. I don't know. I don't know enough about it. So I haven't spent enough time on that area.